Good evening and welcome to Black News Tonight. I'm your host, Marc Lamont Hill. Haitian police say that they have killed 4 suspected gunmen and arrested 2 others in connection with the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse. On Wednesday, the situation in Haiti remains volatile, but here's what we know so far. James Solage, a U.S. citizen, is among the suspects who have been arrested. At least one other detainee is also believed to be a Haitian American. Haiti's interim prime minister, Claude Joseph, has taken charge of the country and declared a state of siege for 15 days. According to Haiti's constitution, such a state of emergency must be ratified by the National Assembly, but Haiti has no sitting parliament, since political unrest caused its 2019 elections to be postponed until September of 2021. Mr. Joseph, the current acting prime minister, was supposed to be replaced this week by Ariel Henry, who had been appointed prime minister by Mr. Moïse in recent days. The UN Special Envoy for Haiti on Thursday said that Prime Minister Claude Joseph would remain the leader of the Caribbean nation until a new election is held. She urged all parties to set aside their differences. Meanwhile, the Dominican Republic said that it was closing its border with Haiti amid fears of a breakdown of order in the country. Joining me now to discuss this sensitive situation is Daniel Supplice. He is a former ambassador of Haiti to the Dominican Republic. He's also a former minister of Haitians living abroad. He joins us direct from the Haitian capital. Mr. Supplice, thank you so much for joining me. You have a unique position here. You're both a sociologist and a diplomat. What impact is all of this having on Haitian society?
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you very much to have me invited in that show. First of all, I must say that when yesterday morning, a friend of mine called me up telling me that there was gunfire nearby the president's house. Well, I just said, well, but the president has a big security team around his house, so I think everything is going to be okay. 2 hours later, I had received the information that the president had been killed and that his wife has been wounded. I strongly denounce and condemn the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse and also the attempted assault of the First Lady, which, by the way, I wish well because I know she's in Florida taking medical care. The first impression that came out was an impression, personally, sadness. Haiti is a country where we all know more or less the history of Haiti. Very brilliant past, grim present, and our future is questionable. We have had, in the last 30 years, and even before that, a situation of total chaos, not being able to regulate the everyday living condition of the Haitian population. But what happened yesterday, the fact that a commando of foreigners, by the way, the latest news, the Prime Minister ad interim just had a press conference about 10 minutes ago, where they showed the public around 14 to 15 foreigners, mainly Colombians, who were part of the commando who stormed the private residence of the president. This is totally unacceptable, and we have to do everything possible to know who, how, those, or who is behind that attack, because democracy cannot be built sitting on a bayonet. Democracy cannot be built by facing. Democracy cannot be built when you are facing an M16 or an AK-47. Democracy is built by winning election and by enjoying the liberty of the freedom to choose who you want. The people are the one choosing their president. President Moïse was an adversary for me. I'm a member of a political party which is in opposition to President Moïse. But President Moïse was the elected president of Haiti, and we are concerned about that situation. As I said, we condemn strongly, very strongly.
And I appreciate this, and I appreciate the strong condemnation, sir. I mean, it's an important point to make that there can be an opposition party, but that does not mean at all that there needs to be political violence. And I think, unfortunately, Western narratives of black countries often makes it seem as if there's always
we have had a very violent history, but we have to understand that Haiti needs a new beginning, and find a new path to peace, to reach economic prosperity. We cannot continue to behave that way. We have done things in the past which proved to be the wrong things to do. I think right now, what happened yesterday, the killing of a president elected in office, should give us a strong signal that we have to change the way we behave, the way we do politics, and the way we behave in terms of a society. I also take the opportunity to present my condolences.
Let me ask you a question about...
Sure.
And I appreciate those condolences. Let me ask you a question about who might be behind this assassination. As you said, we need to learn more about this. But from the looks of things, given the potential suspects, given the breaches of security that seem egregious, do you have any sense, what's the dominant story, the dominant narrative about who's behind this assassination?
Yesterday, I was invited to speak at a radio station in Port-au-Prince, and I was telling them that, every society has what they call a culture of violence, which differs from a society to another. In Haiti, this time of level of criminality is not politically motivated. That's a personal opinion. Okay? Generally, this kind of killing is linked to, it's a mafia type of execution. So my personal opinion is, for the last couple of years, ever since the president took office.
Help me understand, you just said something very important though, sir. You said that you don't believe that this is a political assassination and that it doesn't look like one.
I don't think this assassination is politically motivated. Because in our culture of violence, we do not kill politicians that way. Before the President Jovenel Moïse, we had 4 presidents who were killed in office. As I said, every society has a way to deal with violence. This kind of violence has been imported in Haiti recently. We don't kill people like this in Haiti. Another thing, the way the operation was made, those who killed him were paid to do so. They were not the one in charge. The one who wanted the president dead were not the one carrying the guns. They had people, because it was a commando, of foreigners on top of it, who came to Haiti, and they were paid to do so. So right now, we have to find out who had the money to pay commandos to do so. Who had the interest of having the president killed? Because politically speaking, by killing the president, you cannot take over the power. Because the only way to be president is through elections. And elections will be held at the end of the year. So by killing the president, nobody can take over the palace and become a president. So I don't see why somebody would have the interest, politically motivated interest, of killing the president. But I believe that something went wrong somewhere. Recently, as you know, Port-au-Prince has been a city under siege by gangs. Okay? The whole situation, the whole city was controlled by, even now that I'm talking to you, the southwestern part of the country cannot be reached because the main road leading to those areas are under the control of gangs. The northern part of the country also, going to the north, is also most of the time controlled by gangs. I mean, we have had a situation where gangs are the one making control of the law. Haiti became recently a lawless country. And the president in charge gave the impression of not being able to resolve that problem. So meaning we have had a situation. Yeah, go ahead.
No, this is an incredibly complicated. I was going to say this is an incredibly complicated situation, and you've helped us understand this a lot better. We have to run, but we will be keep following this story for not just the rest of the week, but until we get real clear answers on what's happening in Haiti, why this is happening, and how we can contribute to the rebuilding and the fortification of the country. Ambassador, thank you so much for joining me here on Black News Tonight.